about is what is at the core. And it's interesting because that's actually a really significant question. And it's a very spiritual question because there's some perspectives that says it's all good. We have no challenges in our life at all. We're just all good. Everything's always good. And then there's the other extreme, which is everything's so bad and awful. There's nothing good at all, that we are totally destitute of anything good whatsoever. And a Christian New Church perspective actually holds a little bit of both. That at our core of our core of our core, the deepest part of us is directly connected with God. I'm going to give you a reading on that in a minute. And then, of course, we have all this other stuff that we wrestle with that's more on the outer level, sort of true self, false self, who we actually are, shadow self. You could use any number, our deepest soul, our ego. I mean, you can use any number of things there. And from a Christian New Church perspective, it's always a both and. And I think that's significant. Added to that is this idea, though, that really at the core, there's just this deep connection with God. And that's so significant. At the core, there's this deep connection with God. So you will have, for example, times where you read, and if you're a reader of Christian New Church theology, you will see parts where it talks about the Lord, how the Lord looks at us, and how we have to come to look at ourselves. We have to come to look at ourselves to humble ourselves. We got a lot of faults. There's a lot of sort of bad stuff that we wrestle with. But it never talks about like God seeing that, which is kind of interesting to me. That's not what God sees. What God sees is that inmost core, because that's the part that's most deeply connected to God. So just something to hold in mind. And again, if you look at Christian New Church theology is really shifting back to the roots of the Christian perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense because, boy, you see some of those ancient Christian forefathers, they were a pretty positive lot in many, many ways. So sorry about that, a little allergy attack going on here. So my apologies for the sniffles. So let's take a look. Let's read a little thing on this bit. And this is again talking about humility and about this line where Abram's learning about humility and what does that entail in terms of the core. Our inner core is what makes us human and distinguishes us from animals. It's on account of this inner core that we live on after death forever. In other words, we have an eternal soul that the Lord can lift up among the angels. It is the original human form itself from which we are and become human. In other words, it's what makes us a human being, is that deep shared soul. Through this inner core, the Lord unites with us. The heaven closest to the Lord is made up of all these human interiors, but it exists above the inmost angelic heavens, so the interiors belong to the Lord himself. It goes right back to the Old Testament, that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And that idea of a core that is made in the image of likeness of God, that is God within us. It is very, very similar, friends, for those of you who are familiar with the Quaker perspective, or Pennsylvania, so Philadelphia in particular, so there's lots of Quaker influence there. It's very much aligned with the way Quakers saw the world as well. There is that of God in everyone, would be the quote you hear a lot. I'm hoping I get that. I'm hoping I get that right. And I have that quote right. And it's interesting, friends, just when we come back to thinking about what are the implications of that? Well, I think the implications of it, friends, is that we can just breathe. We just breathe. Yep, we feel lost sometimes. Yep, we lose our temper sometimes. Yep, we're impatient sometimes. Yep, we snap at people sometimes. Yep, all those things are very true and will forever be true. And at the same time, there is this core. And that core, God has an eternity to work with. It's not like every day is the bottom of the knife, because it's not. There's no bottom of the knife. Use a baseball analogy there. The game just keeps going. And what God does is consistently pull that out, is consistently stirring those deep loves that are connected to his deep loves, which are loves that are always outward looking. And those continue in our life to keep bumping out and bumping out and bumping out. Now, can we be asleep to it? Absolutely. Can we not experience it much in this life? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean it's not there. Just because we don't experience something consistently does not mean that it is absent. It just means we're not in a place where we can hear it. It's kind of like right now, there's millions and millions of songs racing through your body with these radio waves, right? But unless you're tuned into the song, you don't hear it. But it doesn't mean the radio waves don't exist. It just means you're not tuned in. And that's our job in life, is to just, in ways that are not shrill or frenetic or yeah, shrill or frenetic or like needy, just to keep coming back to that core, just to allow it to express itself out there into our life. And it also means, friends, that we can start to see other people that way. We start to see other people as holding these incredible gifts. And that really does start to change the world. Doesn't mean that there's some people who are so unable to see it that we have to have distance from them, or so unable to act from it we have to have distance from them. I mean, that's clear, that's prudent. But that doesn't mean it's not there, and it doesn't mean that at some point in time there won't be a time where we can, I don't know, give breath to that, give light to that, give witness to that, whatever that might be. So yeah, maybe that's the takeaway today. Is that word witness. Bearing witness to that core that you see in yourself, that core that you see in other people. And again, like most things, spirituality is not primarily an individual journey. It's really a journey of service. It's really a journey of looking outward. Maybe if we were to pick one thing, just take that witness and just try to witness the core in other people. Just observe it. You don't need to go digging for it. You'll see it. Take all of about 10 minutes to see it. If you go out on a little walk or stroll around or go to a grocery store, whatever, you'll see it. You'll see it. You will definitely see it. So, friends, that is the thought for today. So, what is at the core? Simple answer: good stuff. So, there you go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to shift gears. And the way we shift gears here at New Church Lives, we take a little breath, we do a little meditation, we do a prayer. And then when that is all over, we say hi to folks on social media. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath and a meditation. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's get a little cheery hello to folks here. Say hi to people. And again, I hope you're all doing quite well this fine morning. Okay, a couple of comments there. Marcus, good morning to you. And Linda, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. And flip over, see if we have any comments over here. All right. There we go. Gabriella, great to see you joining us. And yeah, you are more than welcome. These certainly are very enjoyable to do and wonderful to start out our morning at these, no pun intended, but at these core thoughts that get us centered. So folks, God bless. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.